I'm Davey Wavey, creator of Himeros.tv, and I am joined by sex coach Finn Deerhart. And today we are talking about taboos like interracial sex, cross-generational sex, and incestuous sex. Because it's like they say, if you can't keep it in your pants, keep it in the family. Let's get started.
It all starts in the family, actually.
Yeah, incest is the best. Put your cousin to the test. It's a fun game that the whole family can play.
Wow.
I hear the police sirens. They're coming for us.
Yeah, they're coming for you, brother.
Himeros Live is sponsored by Himeros.tv, the place to go to have hotter gay sex. Created by Davey Wavey, we upload weekly erotic videos to help you have the best sex of your life. And then we discuss it on this podcast. Go to Himeros.tv/pod to save 20% off your membership, which is as little as 40 cents per day. You'll get instant access to our erotic library of cock-throbbing videos that inspire deeper connections, sexual exploration, and increased pleasure. Visit Himeros.tv/pod and save 20%. We changed the script up, huh?
I did. I know. It's exciting this time.
So, Finn, it's been a while. How are you?
Yeah, it has been a while. I'm doing really well. I mean, a lot going on in my world, but I'm actually I feel like I say this every week. I'm like, I'm doing great, but I mean it. I feel really awesome. I'm having fun.
Yeah, you have a lot on your plate.
I do.
But all exciting things.
I know. I'm like really exploring such a spectrum around my work, from really explicitly sexual type work all the way to healing spaces where it's all about the heart, and like the spectrum of that is really fun to be in, and all the parts of myself that interact in that whole world. So
nice. Yeah, that's exciting. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus on my end because I was in Italy for 10 days hiking around Tuscany. And I think what I discovered was that food, because I mean, it was Italy, food is probably the only thing that I like almost as much as sex.
Oh, wow. So did you just let yourself go and have whatever you wanted to eat?
I mean, I pretty much do that anyway, to be honest.
Do you really?
Yeah, I spend so much time working out and swimming and biking that like I don't eat like candy bars, but I eat like the foods that I like. If I want to have, pizza or cheese or whatever, I go for it.
Nice.
So food is a big passion for me. So I've decided I'm just going to shut down Himeros.tv and start a cooking channel instead. I'm
just transfer the domain.
Yeah, I guess they're really not that different though. I mean, if you think about it, they both activate, I would say, like pleasure or reward centers, right? Like
totally.
Yeah.
They do. And people's relationship to food and sex is often tied together around agency and choosing something for yourself or excitement, and
can be addictive in either case.
Totally.
Yeah. But girl, I mean, in Italy, I had like pasta for lunch, I had pasta for dinner, pizza for snack in between.
When I was in Italy, I was like one of these weird guys that was eating they have like salads with tuna and stuff. Like it was hard to find like food that I could feel good about. I worked out at Madonna's gym in Rome for a week.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, but you can't get fat from like pasta. Like that's not like homemade pasta.
I had a little bit of that, but I mean the people that I was with, they were like, yeah, eating.
When I was in France, they always said, they're like, you can't get fat from good chocolate. I was like, really? I don't think it works like that. But yeah, I mean, I had like pasta with like cheese truffle sauce, and
I saw on Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, fuck me like a good plate of pasta. Like I want a man that does that to me. Wash it down with some gelato, and I love when my face hole gets used like that. Anyway,
I do love buttery noodles. They're really good. They're so gratifying.
Buttery noodles. Girl, it's the little things. Little things. In other news, you and I are getting ready for our next Himeros.tv video shoot, which is in Palm Springs. It's just in a few more weeks. And most of the content is, I would say, very like 70-ish theme, 60s, 70s, early 80s. We have glory holes, we have cruising, we have a classic car. What else are we doing?
We're doing some intergenerational. Did you hear the plane flying overhead?
Yeah, what's going on?
It's Fleet Week in Fleet Street. That's Sweeney Todd. It is. There's planes flying around. It's like everyone feels like they're under attack in San Francisco. If you don't remember that the planes are flying, but
So Fleet Week, what it means that there's a lot of seamen.
Yep. Just everywhere.
Are they straight or are they gay? Like, does it matter?
I think it's probably a lot more gay than is advertised openly.
So there's all these like horny sailors,
yeah,
that have been like canned up in submarines for months.
Yeah, and putting on masculine roles and not getting too. I don't know what's going on there, but definitely, I mean, think about guys all being together.
My experience has been that these like masculine military guys actually really love bottoming.
Yeah.
So
anytime every reaction is equal and opposite reaction. So it's like in like a really hard exterior and like a really hyper masculinized like image comes with it. The other side, and yeah,
they want to lick your feet.
When I see that, when I see a guy like that, I often just kind of assume like, oh yeah, well, I know what you're really about.
Yes, queen.
Yeah.
So back to our video shoot. I've also been like scouring Palm Springs looking for vintage clothing.
Oh yeah.
Like, because we want the videos that we shoot are going to feel like they're set in that time period. And girl, I have like, I wish I had it out here. The wardrobe collection that I have, girl, we are going to be snatched.
Nice.
SNATCHED, snatched.
Nice.
I ordered a 1970s vintage wrestling uniform.
Oh, cool.
And like and that's just for me to jerk off with. That's not even for the.
Is this before the model wears it or after or both?
Yeah. I think I would actually wear it for my Halloween costume.
Nice.
I don't really go out for Halloween, but if I have a vintage wrestling uniform, I mean, come on.
Yeah. And you could wear that to the gym here. I don't know how they do it in Palm Springs. The guys in San Francisco wear them to the gym.
Oh my God. Yeah. Not so much in Palm Springs. I mean, a wrestling singlet.
Yeah.
Like a vintage one.
Yeah. Say it's not like a, 1 in 4 guys or anything, but it's common. I saw a man working out in his underwear the other day and I was just like, I like guys in underwear, but it's hard to understand at the gym. And I was like, hey, he's doing his thing. And it was just like the little pouch underwear too.
Wow, man. We all need a little bit more San Francisco in our lives. How about that?
And Folsom Street Fair just happened. And it's just like, I do appreciate just the proclamation of openness and the safety of it here.
Yeah. I think we could all benefit from having a little bit of that in our lives. So, I mean, I'm not gonna wear my underwear to the gym anytime soon. However, other housekeeping items. I just uploaded a new YouTube video with Logan Cross, who is in actually next week's video. I think that's going to be his first Himeros.tv video. And in the YouTube video, I put a mixture of household items like toothbrushes and fresh produce, and also various sex toys up his butt. And then he has to guess the difference. So is it like a vibrating toothbrush or is it a sex toy?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good content.
My
mom loved it.
Yeah?
Oh,
no. My mom told me that she said, quote unquote, you've introduced me to more things that a mother never wants to know.
Does she listen to the podcast?
No.
Oh, okay.
But she did ask me about the porno videos, quote unquote.
Porno videos.
It's like, oh, Mom.
I've tried to explain to my mom like countless times the difference between porn and what we do, and I get that like it's a very fine line, but she
come on.
She's like, it's porn, it's gay porn.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out that YouTube video. It's already been age restricted, which is annoying because then that means it goes out to fewer people. But yeah, you'll have to go to my YouTube channel to find it.
Okay.
Please don't invoice me for the therapy that you might need after you watch it, because I'm not paying. Okay, so let's talk about this week's Himeros.tv video. That's why we're here, right? It's called Roleplay Part 2, Dad and Son. Not and son, it's an N. Dad and Son, like Fluff and Udder. You can watch a free preview on Himeros.tv if you would like to check it out. It's the second in a 4-part series that's directed by Travis Matthews, and it features a real life couple, though in this video you only see one half of the couple. And DeAndre, the model in this video, is paired up with legendary model and icon Alan Silver. So the whole series is really an exploration of role play. And in this video, DeAndre and Alan, they role play being father and son, and that just got back from like wrestling practice. So dad's like reading the newspaper. I mean, really, it's a tale as old as time.
Totally.
You know, sweaty son, horny dad. I mean, how could they not have sex? So Finn, my first question for you is about your experience with role playing. Is it something that you, to the extent that you want to share, is it something that you have done or do in your relationships?
Role play, or role play specifically around daddy's son?
Oh, well, I was going to say generally role play, but
generally, okay, let's go into both. Yes, I do role play on purpose. I feel like it's a really important, almost I would call it like a muscle to flex. And I think that there's a lot to learn about ourselves when we role play. In fact, like our fantasy mind has so much really rich, awesome information in it. If we just walk into it and play with that, it can really help bring us together as partners. And also it's just fun to explore and gets you out of the routine. Around daddy's son, I haven't done that with my relationship. I have in the past had like an implied daddy son type relationship, but we didn't actively go into that role. It was just kind of like I was the younger guy and he was like the older guy, and just kind of how we acted with each other, you know.
Well, to your point about it being a muscle to flex, I think that's especially true in long-term relationships. And I think especially like monogamous-ish relationships, because like I know if I put on like a professor's uniform, right, that like I'm no longer Davey Wavey. I'm suddenly this other person.
Yeah.
And like who has a whole completely different, you know, other set of rules, and you can really step outside your normal experience and really make, I would think, like the sex almost as exciting and intense as when you bring in a new partner. It's like, ooh, who's this?
Yeah.
Your imagination is a really powerful tool, you know,
and you know what? Your imagination is absolutely what makes a new person exciting too, because we project onto that person everything that we think that they are. I mean, we don't know, like, we don't know who they are. And then we're just like, oh, you're these things for me. And the brain just sets it all up in this way. So that's why I say it's really important for people, whether you're monogamous or not, to just like master your own ability to own your projections, see them, play with them. And like you said, if you put on a uniform, like you start associating immediately with ways of being, and it just shifts things up and it makes it exciting for ourselves.
I think like because we use porn so much, we stop using our imagination as much as like before I had the internet, I jerked off using my imagination. Like I wasn't watching videos. I had to make videos in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thinking about stuff that I wanted to see. And of course now we can get a little bit lazier. I haven't like explicitly done daddy son, like role playing, I guess, per se. I've kind of lightly dabbled in it. The guys that I tend to date or fuck tend to be younger. And if they call me daddy, like while we're having sex, I get so into it.
What is it about it that gets you into it? Can you share more?
Yeah.
Who do you feel like in the inside?
You know, actually, I feel more like mommy, I think, than daddy, but because I really like when they, I like when they like lick my nipples and like almost as though I'm like nursing them. And I enjoy feeling like nurturing towards the person that I'm with. Like I want to, I guess it's a little twisted. Actually, so there was this one time. Sometimes okay, fine. All right. So there's this one guy that that I used to hook up with, and he was an athlete, and he loved calling me coach. And so he'd be like texting me, he'd be like, "Coach, like, you thinking about me, coach? Like, is your dick getting hard thinking about me? Like, you want me to come over and suck on coach's dick?" Like, and I used to get so into it. And I mean, that was role playing, and it was hot, and
it helps us. What it does, see, our brain doesn't think in words. Like your cerebral cortex organizes words, but your brain produces images, and you think in images. So when we start associating like that and we become different roles, it's a plane. It allows us to feel feelings that are kind of indexed to those images that we have. And that's why it's really awesome and important to play with that.
Yeah. So like when he's the athlete and I'm coach and he comes over in a wrestling singlet.
Yeah. You can play a power dynamic out in the energy, because really what the hell, you access energy in that space that you wouldn't normally have in your body necessarily. Those images help you access the energy to connect in.
So to paint the picture of the video that we're talking about, DeAndre, I would say, is probably about 30, I would guess. And Alan, I would think, is
juicy
maybe
booty, very juicy booty.
Very juicy booty. DeAndre is a very juicy booty. I would say Alan is probably what, in his 60s? 50s, 60s?
Yeah, 58, 60.
Okay. And DeAndre is black. Alan is white. They're pretending to be father and son. They're having gay sex. I mean, this is the gay porn that your mom warned you about.
Totally. This is highly subversive porn for mothers.
Yeah, I'm surprised we don't have a protest from the Westboro Baptist Church.
That would galvanize a lot of publicity.
Yeah, and I feel like they would want to get on this, because it's like, I mean, come on, like, we have cross-generational, incestuous, interracial, gay, sodomy. I mean, like, we just got it all. We got it all. So so I Googled this, taboos, which some people refer to as sexual interests that are atypical. I guess that's like the less stigmatizing way to talk about it.
Right.
Are often called, I'm going to mispronounce this. This is, so paraphilias.
Paraphilia.
Have you ever heard of this?
I've heard the word. I don't utilize that word in my own vocabulary, but
yeah. I mean, so apparently that's like the more, I guess, clinical terminology for it. And in Wikipedia, there's a list of 547.
Jesus, that suggests pathology, though. You know, I don't like that.
Yeah. And some of the things on the list are, well, anyway, it was an interesting list to scroll through. I picked a few of my favorites. Different forms of taboo sex, right? So having sex with animals would be certainly on that list. Corpse. Yeah. Tears, breast milk, vomit, diapers, sex with statues. I mean, it was a very long list. It was extensive. So yeah, we have lots of Himeros.tv video concepts to work on from that.
I just have no comment.
Yeah, it was intense. Yeah, I guess before we get into taboos, are you comfortable sharing like any sexual interest that you have that might be considered like atypical or taboo?
For sure. Yeah, totally.
Just, I mean, for the sake of our conversation and taking things out of the darkness and into the light.
Yeah, I mean, I think that piss play is a taboo for most people. It depends on where you are, but definitely a lot of the gay community in other parts of the country besides where I live isn't.
In San Francisco, it's like,
yeah, I know the limits of personal freedom here are quite wide, but
yeah.
I enjoy that dynamic. You know, as a little kid, I was secretive about it, but like watching guys pee in the bathroom, and I think it started formulating these ideas back then around that, and sneaking peeks at guys, and I think that was kind of where that started. And also, like pulling your penis out at the urinal in like grade school and starting to like experience, you know, being looked at and looking at other guys, I think we start formulating this curiosity back then and ever since. And so I don't think people really want to talk about that often, but I'm into it.
Yeah, you're right though about it being kind of like relative, because I also enjoy piss play stuff, and like to me that doesn't even fall on the list of like taboo sex, but I think
Yeah.
it is. I think for a lot of people probably.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's something I can think of right off the top of my head.
So mine is I really like brothers,
Oh yeah.
specifically
Okay.
twins.
Yeah. Okay. Me too.
Yeah, I'll settle for brothers, but what I really want are twins or like triplets. Like that's my thing. Um,
You know, there have been times where, you know, even with my partner, I'll like have this like fantasy that he's like my big brother or my little brother, depending on. There's like, you know, oh, my big brother came home from college and he's like, I'm sucking his dick in the shower, and you know, it's like this secretive, like it's just between us kind of thing, and it really does, you know, parallel kind of how I grew up as a kid. Like it's like my brother and my sister were my only friends really growing up in the minister's family. So. Yeah.
did it parallels it in what sense? Like, did you play with your brother?
I didn't play with him. I tried to do things like that. I mean, I tried
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I've dated a lot of guys, a couple of guys who have gay brothers,
Oh,
and I think like subconscious. I don't know. I'm like,
I always wanted that.
yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Um,
I was jealous even of guys that talked about having brothers that they fucked. I was like, oh man, if I could just had that when I was 16. That'd been wonderful, you know.
and when you're on Pornhub and there's a video and it says like real brothers, and like oftentimes it's clearly not, but it doesn't even matter because it's just like the, you know, that they might. It's just it's
Right.
like enough to make it super hot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Well,
Also,
go ahead.
I was gonna say like, not that we need to like rationalize or justify the taboos that we're into, but I I think that incest is just for cis. Like if you're, it should not apply to cis gay people, because I think the whole situation is like it only makes sense. Incest became a taboo because genetically it was going to complicate the gene pool,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like mutations could happen. So like if you think your brother is hot and you have sex with him, like you're not gonna get anyone pregnant.
Right.
So it should not apply to gay people. And if your brother is hot and you have sex with him, please take pictures and send them to me.
You know, I used to produce a show here in San Francisco, like a confession show where people would share their confessions live. And there was a man that actually shared a story about he had an ongoing relationship with his brother for years. And I was really touched with his story. Like not only just it was sexy, but it was also just like emotionally impacting to hear what they went through with each other for years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they were like real life boyfriends.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't declare that or you know live under that organization of their reality. They didn't like go out in public like that, and you know, but it was almost like unofficially we're together and we've got each other's back.
There used to be a twin like boyfriend couple on Bellamy, the Peters twins. Do you remember this back in the day?
I don't not by name.
Okay, I want to say like we're thinking probably like 10, 12 years ago that this was a thing.
Yeah.
And Bellamy really, they're both really sexy, and Bellamy like kind of build them as like this like real life. They were real life boyfriends. Like they weren't just doing it for Bellamy. I mean, they were not like, but they were twins and they were having sex with each other. But they weren't doing it because they wanted to. They were doing it because they were getting paid money to do it. Oh my God, I was completely on board though. I was like, this is like, yeah.
Yeah, and I really think it touches a lot of people. I think what you mentioned is a big one in the gay community is brothers and fathers, and all these things are for a reason, because our psyches have a lot of imprints around. It's like unfinished business with the family, and it's a way to bring erotic energy and healing to a place where a lot of guys just felt lacking. You know, a lack of acceptance and a lack of being connected, and so having fantasies in that space. You know, instead of some guys have thought, oh God, this is totally weird. I don't know why they're almost ashamed of that. And I always just say, well, of course you're thinking that. You're like, trying to make it all okay in retrospect. And I think it's cool.
Do you think we should do a Himeros TV video with brothers?
Never get like a flood of emails of brothers applying.
Yeah, please.
You know what? Yeah, I think as far as role plays are concerned, there's so many role plays to play with.
No, I mean real ones.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I think, look, like from the standpoint of producing videos, I think taboos are a really rich topic for content because it's fun. It's also fun to brush against other people's boundaries and do things that make people a little bit uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that hard to do it. So
no, not at all.
Like if it's legal, if everyone's consenting, if it's not dangerous, then I think there's a lot to dive into with taboos.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of value in it too.
I read a book called A Billion Wicked Thoughts. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's this really comprehensive study of human sexuality, and it's based on data from the internet. So they basically like opened up the treasure trove of data that is like Pornhub and xnxx.com and everything. And the authors of it say that it's like the first comprehensive study since the Kinsey report. And when Kinsey interviewed people about their sexuality, it was based on self-report, and you might report different than the reality. So like
most likely
if you ask me what I had for dinner, like I might tell you something, but like if you really want to see what I ate, then look what's on the end of my fork. And with the internet, you have the ability to see what's on the end of the fork.
Right.
And the most commonly searched term on Pornhub's straight website, like Pornhub straight, is the word mom.
Yeah.
And I think the variation of that, mom, mother, whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that to me, that's touching on a really large philosophical thing around just the rising feminine, and we look at the state of affairs and our politics and all the things around femininity. And yeah, I mean, straight men and their relationships with their mom are highly in question. And they might, on the surface, people would go, oh God, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, looking deeper at just like all the layers in the psyche around that, I'm not surprised at all,
So there's a popular gay website that just launched fairly recently, maybe in the last like year or two, called familydick.com. And usually like when I created Himeros TV, I had this idea and then I built the site and then I marketed it. And with Family Dick, they built the site based on what people were searching for. They're searching for family, they're searching for dick. It was two really popular gay search terms. So like if people have issues with the sex that's portrayed in it, like know that it's really like it's a reflection of what consumer demand was. Like it is the website that America built, familydick.com.
Yeah.
So okay, so we have some questions to get to. Anything else about this video that came up for you? Comments, thoughts, questions, concerns?
I liked when they were speaking back and forth to each other and just naming all the different possible power dynamics, like coach, boy,
Uber driver.
Yeah, I liked that. I thought that was really cool. And that shows the malleability of it all too. It's like, here's these two people and they're expressing these different dynamics that they could kind of fit in. And I dig it.
They do. They make this long list in the video of like the roles that you could embody. And that was all improv. They kind of just listed them off.
Yeah.
And they were playing off of each other. Cool. So yeah, this is part 2. It's a 4-part series. I don't think the next one comes out until maybe December. So you'll have to wait for it. Yeah. All right. It's time for questions. So if you guys have any questions, you can send them to Davey at daveywavey.tv, and then we'll answer it on the next podcast. So question number 1 is, I noticed that this week's video has a white guy and a black guy, but as someone with a very old-fashioned family, I know my parents would have an issue if I dated a black guy. Do you think that's a reason to just stick with dating other white men? I also love that the term here that was used was, I have a very old-fashioned family. And I think by old-fashioned, what they meant is like racist.
Like old-fashioned bigots.
Yeah. That's a nice euphemism. Oh, they're not. They're just old-fashioned.
I'm just wondering what they're, no, I don't think you should stick with just dating white people.
To appease your parents.
To appease your parents. But I also am hearing, there's some struggle there in the family, and probably this person doesn't want to disappoint the family. And so there's some like healing to be done on the family level and some communication. But as far as like what you should do in altering your own behaviors according to your family wishes, no.
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things that I know in life. I don't know much. I do know that wherever love blossoms, right, that it's worth exploring. Like, and if you feel like you have a really strong connection, those types of things don't come around very often in life. And I think just to take it, to step back, when I was younger and I knew that I was gay from a young age, I knew that my parents were going to be upset when I told them about it, that it's not what they wanted for me. But I also knew that the only path to happiness that I had was for me to live my life with truth, my truth, not my parents' truth. So I think this person needs to ask themselves, like, if they're going to live their life for themselves or if they're going to live it for their parents. Because I would still be in the closet, like if that were the case, just to make my parents happy. But
totally. And just get some, if you're afraid of like losing support, maybe you just want some other resources or some people to talk to help you make that transition into being more authentic with yourself.
Question number 2. I am 16 and I go to high school. First of all, if you're 16, why are you listening to this?
It's age-restricted material.
Yeah. Okay, I guess you can listen to the podcast. You're not allowed to go to Himeros TV. It's 18 plus. Okay. I'm 16. I go to high school. There's a straight boy on the swim team, isn't there always? And we have such a good time together. He's really hot, and I think I may be in love with him. Oh, I didn't mean to laugh at it. Can we edit that out? Oh my God, Finn's just giving me this look of death, like, you judgmental bitch.
I'm smiling warmly at everyone involved.
Okay, so he's really hot, and I think I may be in love with him, or at least I'm falling in love with him. And I know that I'm just setting myself up for a broken heart, so please help me. We've all been 16.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
So it's actually a very sweet question. It's very cute, and it brings me back to my own childhood. And I'm going to give, I think, what we would call some tough love here. And I don't think a lot of people would be this honest about this. So I hope that if you're a 16-year-old that's listening to this podcast, I think you can understand what I'm about to say, which is, if you really love someone, like if you really, truly, truly love someone, you want them to be happy. And you want what is best for them, even if that can hurt for you.
Totally.
I think this is something that, like, your parents, for example, might experience when you're old enough to go off to college, or, you move away with your first job. In that instance, like, they love you enough. They love you so much that they want you to do what's good for you. And I think a deep love like that is very selfless. So if you really do love this boy, as you say that you do, then I think what you'll want is for him to be happy. And because he's straight, like, he can be happy with you as a friend, but being happy for him sexually isn't going to be with you. So I think if you really love him, you can find a way to want that for him too.
Yeah, totally. And I also think that you deserve to have someone that loves you for you as well. And, so often if we want someone that's unavailable, it can like point to a part of us that, is like maybe scared to open up and receive love. So I don't know if you're out of the closet or not, because I don't think the question really showed that, but someone should love you for who you are and love the gayness of you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let him go.
Boom. I feel like we knocked that one out of the park.
Yeah, love him and let him go.
Okay, question number 3. This isn't really a question, but it's a statement. Just like Finn, I love cum. This isn't really a question so much as a suggestion. My favorite thing to do with my partner is to have him come in my morning chai. And then I text him pictures all day of me drinking it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's all it was. Finn, this is something for you to try. I think this is a suggestion for your.
That's really, really cool. Well, I actually have done things like that, so I can connect over that.
A little load in your morning
coffee.
chai.
Yeah, my coffee and my
Cream in
cereal.
your coffee.
Yeah.
I love the idea though of like also texting the pictures throughout the day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sweet and kinky. I love it.
Yeah. Well, cool. So those are our questions. Next week, we're going to talk about a video titled "In the Closet." It's, I think, probably the hottest Himeros TV video yet. In the meantime, make sure you join us on Himeros.tv with a 20% discount at Himeros.tv/pod. It's HIM. Ooh, excuse me, that was a burp. EROS.tv/pod. Finn, where can people get more of you?
Get me at findeerhart.com. FINNDEERHART.
Or chasing after the seamen in San Francisco during Fleet Week.
Yes, and actually, on my website, I'm introducing a form so people can anonymously submit fantasies, and that'd be something I'd love to hear more from people about.
Ooh, girl, you're asking for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's under the blog section.
Okay. Well, awesome. Finn, thanks for being here. And for everyone at home, thank you guys for listening. And as always, more to come.
Mm.